Hi. So this is going to be a mostly unedited video, like the raw unedited videos I used to make. Some of the OGs might remember. And I kind of wanted to update you and document where I'm at in life, but I also want to share with you lessons that I've learned that have really shaped the way that I think, changed the way that I move forward. I mean it when I say that this could save you so much time. It took me probably a year to actually have this ingrained in me, and I'm just now really applying it. And so I believe this video is going to be really valuable. It's one that I would have wanted to be able to watch like a year and a half ago. So to kind of give you some context, lately I've been really struggling. Probably towards the end of November 2024 into the beginning couple weeks of January this year, I was doing really great. I was really proud of myself. I was really happy that it seemed like I finally was starting to make consistent progress over longer periods of time, and that I thought I was finally going down the path of leveling up my identity. I thought I was finally going to move into this new season, finally going to get to this next tier of life, this next tier of man that I want to become. But then the new year started and I started slipping. It's hard in the holiday season because there are so many valid reasons to not be super strict with yourself. But after all of those get-togethers and all of those weekend hangouts and all of those late nights and all of those parties, I didn't snap back to a man that I wanted to be. Started relapsing in bad habits that I had thought I'd quit, like porn. For the first time in 2, almost 3 years, I haven't been consistent with even the little things like meditation. I think this is literally the first time since I started meditating that I haven't been consistent with it. And we all hit ruts, but it kind of feels like I have just been spiraling. Like I've been slipping, but the slipping didn't stop, and I didn't do even the annoying cycle of like slight slip, a week of motivation, slight slip. I didn't even do that. I just kept degrading. And although I have so much in my life that I'm deeply grateful for, like I'm deeply grateful for my family, I'm so passionate and grateful for the job that I have. I literally cannot express how grateful I am for the girlfriend that I have. Although I have things that I'm deeply grateful for, I haven't been feeling great about my life, about who I am. And I think it's hard because it feels like my back is against the wall, kind of. Like I've just turned 18, I'm gonna be graduating soon. And from researching salaries and apartment prices to having to start talking about graduation, I'm realizing that like it's actually on me. Like it's all on me. And it's like real now. And the time is passing anyways, and I'm not that much closer to achieving my dreams, to quitting the bad habits, to doing the things that Noah 3 years ago wanted to do but didn't really put effort into. Now I'm at a point where it has to happen. Like there is no other milestone to wait for to justify it. And it's just sobering because I want a lot for my life. But now with the necessity of adulthood impending, I am abundantly more aware of the deficit of where I want to be and who I want to be and where I'm at and who I am. And so kind of point one is really the thing that I'm coming to terms with again, is that it's my fault. It's all my fault. I don't say that in a self-pitying sense, but I am the problem. Anything from trying to start new habits consistently to trying to quit old bad habits, there are all of these reasons that I can try to convince myself are the reason I'm not doing what I should be. It's seasonal depression, I'm busy, it's my subconscious, I just need to know more. I don't think this is all of me, but in some capacity, I want to be doing these bad habits. If I didn't want to be doing them, I wouldn't be. And when it comes to the good habits, I'm just being lazy. And for a long time, I was worried about admitting that on either side. I didn't want it to become part of my identity, but what I forsook, was that you can't change something that you don't accept exists. If you refuse to say that this thing is a real thing, you are hopeless when it comes to changing it. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I just read the Discourses in Enchiridion by Epictetus. Everyone from PewDiePie to Charlie Morgan is recommending it. It's really good. Epictetus is a Stoic, and actually in the first couple pages, he starts off by talking about the essence of Stoicism, which is you need to focus on what you can control. And the only things that you can control are essentially your reactions to what happens. In our power are thought, reaction, the will to get, and the will to avoid. In a word, everything which is part of ourselves. Things generally not in our power are the body, property, reputation, and status. In a word, everything which does not genuinely belong to us. And that leads me nicely into the second point that I wanted to talk about, which is that, not trying to sound cliche, but everyone fails. That is a constant. Part of this long tweet Alex Hormozy said, and he said it on a million podcasts, which is like, you're not going to finish your to-do list and you're going to get to bed late and da-da-da-da-da-da. You're going to fail. That is a constant between everyone in history, from Rockefeller to the homeless man on the street. We all fail. There is quite literally one skill that distinguishes someone who is successful and someone who stays stuck in a position like I'm in. And that is the skill of how you respond to the failure. And I mean this in the most practical sense. I think I've realized that the most important skill, or at least one of the most important skills, is learning how to respond to failure. It seems like as I grow older, a lot of life is just objection handling. A lot of discipline is just getting your mind to a certain point or having something to argue with yourself that is so powerful in the moment that you can get yourself to do the right thing. And if you can kind of apply that to failure, if you can figure out how to view failure, how to have a framework around what happens when you fail to rapidly and dramatically change the trajectory, I can't think of a more important skill. I can't think of a more important skill than learning how to respond to failure. I don't mean that motivationally. I mean that literally and practically. I'm not perfect at this, but I think one of, if not the most overpowered frameworks is that all failure is an opportunity. I think Mark Rober calls it the Super Mario effect. I don't know, Colin and Samir have talked about this like a million times, but essentially switching from failure is regressing to the idea that failure is a data point in the column of what not to do. If you fail, you've never wasted your time, you've gained the experience. And in that experience, that is more data. And you can only make more informed decisions from more data. Finally, something that I thought I knew years ago is that you need to change your identity. You need to change your self-image. Your identity is the set of beliefs you hold about yourself, about who you are and what you are, whether you would like to admit it or not, whether your ego is going to try to get in the way of you admitting it or not. Anything you do is permitted because you see yourself as a type of person who does that thing. I would never smoke. I just don't do it. It's not who I am. I am not someone who smokes. If you offered me a cigarette, I would say no. It would not take any willpower to say no. It would not take any thought to say no. I just don't do that. James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits, the most powerful aspect when it comes to destroying or creating new habits, or in reality changing your life, is changing what you believe about yourself. Like Maxwell Maltz talks about in Psychocybernetics, changing the belief that you have about yourself changes everything. It changes what you're able to stick to, how you're able to act, what you're able to quit. And that's really what it all comes down to. But also, you need to change your self-image, you need to change your identity, and you need to do that with the intention of changing your identity. You need to understand, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. Then you start the process understanding that you are killing this starting position. Who you are now has to die. Goals are just a vessel through which you can transform yourself. And so you need to change the texture of your mind when you start trying to improve your life. I am no longer this person. This is who I identify with. I identify with my higher potential. That is one of the reasons I think Paul talks about in Romans, the idea that you are dead to your sin and you are alive to Christ. And now, I believe there's theological significance to that, but if you wanted to extrapolate the principle there, like, you have to stop identifying with who you are now. That person has to die. That person has to die. And if you're not comfortable with who you are now completely getting decimated, you won't become the higher version of yourself. And the higher version of yourself is who you have to identify with. I know I've been yapping for like 20 minutes. And a lot of this in reality is me just speaking to myself. I'm going to be making some pretty drastic changes in my life soon, and I kind of needed to sit down and just, one, update you guys on where I'm at in transparency, because that's what I'm trying to keep, but also maybe some of these realizations will help someone out there. Maybe someone's on a 3 a.m. YouTube rabbit hole and they're in a rut too, and then they're going to watch this video and have the motivation or clarity to change their life. I hope you found value in this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.